Deputies in the Karelia region of Russia have called on Putin to issue a decree on the end of mobilization.
The statements of the president and his press secretary that partial mobilization is completed are not normative acts and therefore they have no legal force. Emilia Slabunova, deputy of Karelia region of Russia, on Telegram.
Russian journalists have found out that the absence of a decree on the end of mobilization is a deliberate action. Sources of the Verstka publication in the Kremlin say that preparations are already underway for a new stage in various authorities, state-owned companies and military registration and enlistment offices. A new stage can start after the end of the autumn conscription campaign in Russia on December 31st, and the fact that the mobilization was allegedly completed was announced for emotional relief of the population. The Russian authorities do not deny that given the zero training of the majority of those mobilized, they may not last long, and the Kremlin may need more human resources. The number of conscripts, depending on the subject, can even be 3 to 4 times higher than the officially announced figures. It depends on which region the conscription will go on, a protest one or a non-protest. They can take more people in non-protest regions, for example in the Caucasian regions. Source close to the Kremlin in a comment to the Verstka publication. According to experts, 2 million Russians could be mobilized during the new wave of mobilization. At the same time, we are talking only about a repeated, partial mobilization. We have already got too much people, but talking about assault rifles, bulletproof vests, sleeping bags or cars, there's too little. Even the first wave is holding on with difficulty. There will be nowhere to train people, nothing to arm them with, and in some cases even nothing to feed them with. Source in the Far Eastern Federal District of Russia, in a comment to the Verstka publication. You can find a lot of evidence of real problems with the provision of Russian mobilized on social media. The servicemen in a training center in Chebarkov were told to make snowballs and throw them instead of grenades, and to learn how to kick a tin can. Mobilized men from the Altai region claim that they are given uniforms unusable for service. They gave us uniforms of such a fabric that you can only dig in the mud under tanks in it. At the same time, the official number of killed in the Russian military, which Minister of Defense of Russia Sergei Shoigu announced 2 months ago, is almost 6,000 people. But according to conversations between the mobilized and their relatives, which are regularly intercepted by Ukrainian intelligence, the figure of killed is clearly higher.
No way! You sit and pray. 49 killed servicemen of the 3rd Battalion were brought here yesterday, so sit there and do not go anywhere.
The situation has caused outrage among the mothers and wives of the Russian troops. Women across the country began to write appeals and file lawsuits in the courts to return their husbands and sons from the front line. They even tried to get an appointment with President Putin. As a result, Putin agreed to accept women, but the others, representatives of the Council of Mothers and Wives of Russia and the Committee of Soldiers' Mothers of Russia, were not invited to the parliament. This provoked a violent reaction from them.
Владимир Владимирович, вы мужчина или кто?
Vladimir Vladimirovich, are you a man or what? Do you have the courage to meet openly with real mothers who came from different cities at their own expense here to you, and not with your fake mothers whom you paid? We are ready to meet you in Moscow. We are waiting for your answer, or will you hide again?
Moreover, after their active speeches, the members of the movement began to be followed by the state security structures, they say in the Council of Mothers and Wives of Russia.
Today, from the very morning, we observed that near the house where we spent the night, there was a car. There were people doing nothing, just sitting in the car. We noted them after we went out of the entrance. Then we saw several people started following us.
But the women say they will continue to seek a meeting with Putin and the return of their men from the front line. And the number of such applications will only grow with time. Reported by Pavlo Stelmach, Angelina Brushnevska, UATV News.